Damn. Well, making dams work.
Welcome to 3D Accuracy, where I'll talk about 3D printing, 3D product design, and 3D injection and die-cast mold design.
I filled the expansion joints with sand so that there wasn't so much sealant being used to fill up the cracks. And then I put little dams with sand so that I could control the flow, because the floor isn't completely flat. It's wavy. And anyway, I put some sealant in there and it worked nicely. I've picked the sand out of this one right here, and you can see that it formed up to the sand, and there's a little bit of sand in the sealant. I can feel the grains of sand, but overall it worked really well. So now all I have to do is come back and fill this with the sealant. I'll just fill this up, and it's not a cosmetic thing, so I'm not worried about how it's going to look. I'm just wanting to make sure that we got the floor level. So I'll just take that sand out of there. Now it is 3 days. I did this on Wednesday evening late, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2.5 days roughly. By this evening it'll be 3 days, and I can still feel that it's soft underneath. I can actually push my finger into it and I can feel it give. So it hasn't totally cured yet. At least I'm not sure that it's cured, if it's supposed to get hard or if it will always have that little bit of give to it, because I've never used this material before. So it may just be the way it is, but I can definitely feel that it has a give to it. So it's not hard, but it seems to work really, really well. And so what I'm going to do today, the goal for today, is make these little dams in all the cracks, in all the expansion joints, all the way across the shop, all the way down that side, all the way down this side, and then get the sealant in it so that it looks like this. Now, before I do that, though, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to pull the sand out of these that are already done, and I'm going to put some sealant in these little openings in between here, and just make sure it looks okay and that it works. I'm pretty sure it will. It seems pretty brain-dead decision as far as that's concerned. It's I don't see why it wouldn't work. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill these. Now it does stick to the concrete really strongly, this sealant. It's on there. So that's a good sign. I'll just make sure this is clean enough, get the grits of sand out of there so that the sealant will adhere. And it shouldn't be an issue, because once the flooring goes down, it's trapped. It's not going anywhere. So that's what's on the agenda for today, and I'm not going to bore you with videos of making all these little dams and squeezing the caulk into it. Oh, new addition to the shop. Go check out my video unboxing that fella. Did that yesterday. And so I'm going to get the dams and then go ahead and fill the caulk in. Now the only tricky spot I got is where the van is. And so what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to put dams, fill it with the silicone caulk, but I'm not going to put caulk where the tires are. Then I'm going to pull the van out, and I'll do underneath the van where the in the center, I'll have to get between the wheels, between here and here, I'll fill that with the caulk. I'll put dams, several sections, and then pull the van back in so the wheels go over the spot that doesn't have any caulk, any of the sealant. And then once it's in, then I'll just reach underneath there and I'll fill that little final section, because I don't want to drive the van over the sealant until it's had a chance to set up. Now, if I have to get the van out, I can always put a piece of plywood or a tile or something. I've got some ceramic tiles around that'll work so that I can get it out if I have to, especially once it skins over, it's by the next day, it's got enough of a skin. I could probably drive over it if I had to, just put something on top of it. Now, the other thing that I want to do is in this direction from front to back, I'm going to put the dams a little closer together. Because what will happen is, because there's a slope, I need to make the dams closer together. Because the material is self-leveling, it's going to be thinner on one side, on the high side, and a little bit thicker downstream, as you know, down the slope. So I don't want to have too much of a step effect in there. And so I'm going to put the dams a little bit closer together, front to back, than I will side to side. Side to side, it's more a wavy issue in the concrete. You know, it's not perfectly flat, whereas front to back, there's definitely a slope to it. So I'm going to break that up, maybe go every 12 inches, no more than that, and see how that works. Okay, so anyway, I'll let you see what it looks like when I've got this part of it done. So okay, we're partway there. I got all the little sand dams created in various locations along the expansion joints. So let me show you what that looks like. You can see every so often I've got a little dam created all along the expansion joint. And that way I'm hoping I can fill these little areas like I did over here, and then come back and plug the holes. You know, just, I found I can use my my hand brush and just brush the sand out of there. It works really well, really quick, and does the job. And you can see all along there I've got little dams, and over on the other side here, you see I've got little dams every so often. That way I can fill this in with this self-leveling material and not have it run all out into the driveway out front. I'm just prepping this tip because I'm almost out of the other cartridge, and I know I'm going to need this very quickly. But before I get doing the next section, I want to have it ready. These are nice because they have little markings on the side. You can see, it tells you, you know, whether you want to do 1/2 inch or 3/8 or 1/4 of an inch. So it's nice it has markings on there. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm putting in the sealant in the expansion joints. And you can see this cartridge is getting towards the end. I know it's going to dry up either this one or that one for sure. So I want this next one ready. And this works really good. Over on the other section where I took the sand out from the in between, you can see over here you can see how wide it is on this end, and it's narrower here, wider on that end, narrower here, because of the slope on the floor. Because of the slope on the floor, and that's why I'm doing it in small sections, 1 foot long. There's 12 inches in between each dam, so that I don't have all this self-leveling sealant running out. And it's working well. So that's a good thing. So let's finish these 2 sections here. I'm just about to the end of this one. And I find it works well if I rest it on one side and just kind of let it float into the crack. And it does a good job. And I kind of fill it up on both sides. And when I get to the end here, I kind of stop squeezing, and then I just let the sealant run out because it's thin enough. You can see the consistency. Like I said yesterday, or a couple days ago, it's kind of like the consistency of a thick honey. And so I let it get like that, and then I go over to the next section and reposition myself so that I can do it without reaching too far. And the sand works really, really well. It's a cheap way to make spacers, make a little dam along the way. And then I'll just take that sand and sweep it up and throw it out in the yard somewhere, out in the driveway, something like that. Yeah, maybe I'll make it to the end of this one. I can feel I can't squeeze it anymore. Talk about just about a perfect ending. I'm right at the end, and I have like no more to squeeze. I can't give it anymore. So we'll just be patient here for a second, let it run. I had some caulk in this one spot right here, and I pulled that out and I put some sand to create a dam, because I know the sand I can get out, and I didn't want the caulk to be an issue sticking to the sealant here. So I took the caulk out and I put sand. And you can see how nice it turned out over here where I patched in the little holes. You can see how well that turned out. The little holes where I had the dams. So all I gotta do is wait until tomorrow and then brush that sand out and fill all the little holes. And then I'm done with the floor. Then I basically have everything done and I'm ready to move on to painting and patching the walls, filling all the little holes and cracks and that kind of thing. But this stuff works well. I'd recommend it for anybody doing this sort of thing. What do you think, Laupo? Does it look pretty cool?
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool? This'll do the job, huh?
This really accurate job, huh?
Yes, it's a 3D accuracy job. Make the shop nice. I've never seen this done before with the sand and the little dams. Not that I'm the first one to think of it. Somebody else may have done something somewhat similar, but I've never seen anything on YouTube or any videos of anybody doing this sort of thing. And I was just trying to figure out, okay, how can I use the self-leveling stuff? Because you can get the sealant that's not self-leveling, but it only comes in the small tubes. And you have to buy 3 small tubes equal one of these large tubes, and it costs twice as much to do it that way. So I'm like, okay, how can I get the self-leveling stuff to work instead of buying the more expensive non-self-leveling caulk? And so I came up with this idea of putting the little dams in there with the sand, and it seems to be working. So just takes a little extra messing around. I got to put the dams in, and I got to take the dams out, and I got to fill the little holes. But I think at the end of the day, by the time you do the non-self-sealing caulk, and then you got to scrape it all in, level it all out, you're spending time doing that too. So maybe it's even, maybe it's not. Doesn't really matter in the sense that, I don't do this for a living. This is a one-shot deal. And as soon as I have this done in the next couple hours, that's probably pretty much it. I don't know if I'll do this ever again. So it works. That's the important thing. Okay, so the rest of it is pretty much the same. You see how I've done it. So I won't bore you with doing every little one. I'll show you the end results when it's all finished. Until then, I don't know. I've got a couple more hours to do all this. So I'll be back in a little bit. 10 to 7, managed to get everything I wanted to do done today, so that's a good day. Let me show you what it looks like now. You see I had all the little dams put in, and I've got the sealant in all the cracks. Everything is done. Everything is done. All I got to do is let this cure, let it set up. It'll get sticky in a couple hours, but then it'll take like 3 to 5 days for it to be fully cured. And so tomorrow, if it's cured enough then I'll go ahead and I'll sweep out the little dams with my hand brush and get the sand out of there and throw it out in the driveway or something, and then I'll fill in all those little holes. It's the next day and I've finished. I pulled all the little dams out and I got all the little areas where the dams were filled in. So it's all done. All it's got to do is cure now. That'll be the end of the floor for a while.
I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you're ever in need of 3D product design, 3D injection mold design, 3D die-cast mold design, or 3D printed prototypes or production parts, please feel free to contact me. You can find contact information in the video description. I look forward to hearing from you and to being of service to you. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate it. See you on 3D Accuracy's next video.